Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where today's show is Authentic Achievements, and it's my very great privilege to be joined shortly by the fabulous Mimi Bland, who is a globally respected spiritual mindset and self-mastery mentor with a rare gift, the ability to see straight into the person's potential, very often before they can see it for themselves. With over 25 years experience in mindset training, emotional mastery and spiritual growth, Mimi blends deep human understanding with her intuitive connection to guide transformational breakthroughs. She has a unique ability to connect both vibrationally and spiritually with those she works with, tailoring her guidance to each client's personal mindset and energetic blueprint. And her mission is rooted in teaching others how to harness the power of the mind through love for oneself, and love for those around us. Through her signature method of mastering the mind, she helps clients let go of old stories and step into the life they intentionally design, one of clarity, joy, and complete alignment. So, Mimi, welcome.
Hello, thank you so much, Kim, and welcome. After that introduction, I'd like to meet myself.
Well, I'm super excited to meet you and have you on. I mean, I don't even know where to start. There is so many questions, but could you start by bringing that to life a little bit for us?
Yes, of course. So basically what I do is I help people just to remember who they are, because over the years of life, we've been conditioned to believe certain things and to think about ourselves in a certain way. So my whole mission is really to create a whole new mythology, a whole new way that people can actually understand who we are. Because when we're born, we don't actually get born with a blueprint or with a roadmap. So it's just about teaching people from the ground up, the foundation level up. So if you've got the foundations of who you are, why you came here, what you're here to achieve and what you're here to overcome, then it makes life so much more easier. So that's really the whole point of my work, really.
Amazing. And you're right. Often we think we've got a blueprint and that we're following something, but actually we get to rewrite that, don't we? We get to choose what that is. But that's easy to say and hard to do. Would that be fair?
Yeah, and also, like, if you've got the basics, like when you buy a car, you know the basics. There's an engine, and there's things that go together that you have to have oil to make everything work. It's the same with us. We have universal principles. We have spiritual laws, spiritual truths about ourselves that we're never taught. So when you actually have that basic principle, everything else becomes a little bit easier. It's still hard because we're living in a world that's constantly really sort of working against us to a degree. So it is hard to take control of the mindset and of your emotions. But once you understand what they're there for and how they're actually there to help you and guide you, it becomes a little bit easier.
I love that, because it's true, isn't it? Like with the car, once you understand the things that need to be there for it to work well, you're better able to make it work well. Or you can go and find the right person if it's not something that is in your wheelhouse yet, which I guess is where you come in, isn't it? Is helping people to identify those parts for themselves and get that better understanding of the elements that are working for them, against them, near them, to be in better control.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like anything. If you don't have knowledge and information, so like when I was going through some really hard, dark times in my life, I didn't have the knowledge or information to be able to understand what was happening to me, why it was happening to me. And there was no one that I could actually talk to. It was all surface level, like therapy type of things. But that wasn't actually helping me. It wasn't helping me change the situation, stop recreating the same situations. So it's knowledge and information is power, but knowledge and information, then being able to put it into implementation in your life, that's true power. That's self mastery. That's being able to understand why you're calling certain things in, why you're attracting certain things, because everything is literally coming to you and from you, and then how to navigate those things, learn the lessons that they're coming to teach you, because everything is really there to help you to grow and to expand and to awaken to yourself. But we're always trying to push things away and trying to stop things, and going into situations and maybe replaying situations year after year after year, because we haven't got the understanding of what they've come here to teach us.
I love that. One of the things I tell my little girl all of the time is that everything in life is a lesson, a blessing, or both. So when you don't feel blessed, look for the lesson, because that is the blessing. But you do, to your point, Rima, you do have to learn the lesson, don't you? Because if not, life repeats.
It does. It's a constant repetition. It's like the wheel of samsara, I call it. It'll keep going round and round, the same painful lessons, different places, exactly the same life experiences. Because we're always judging and sort of like putting condemnations or judging a situation, but there is no judgment. When you understand it's just an event, it's just a situation, and it's coming to show you an aspect of yourself. So if somebody leaves you or something happens, we then get immediately hurt, and we're like, oh, that person's a really bad person, or they're a narcissist. No, there's no labels. They're just coming to show you where you need to love yourself, what void is missing within you. So every single thing is really just a representation to show you what you're seeking from someone else. And when you can understand it and you can step back and think, aha, wait a minute, why am I getting triggered by this? Why am I getting angry by this? Because they're not giving me what I want. What is it that you want? Well, why won't you listen to me? Why aren't you appreciating me? Well, where are you not appreciating yourself, and where are you not loving yourself? They're just showing you, they're just mirrors to show you where you need to fix yourself. And then when you actually fix those aspects and you give yourself the love that you're seeking or the validation, you no longer need to keep repeating that same painful lesson, because it doesn't show up in your life anymore, not in the same way.
I love that. And I've often thought that my life and everybody's life probably only really makes sense in the rear view mirror. It's only when you can look back at it that you can realize how much you grew, how much you learned, how different you are now from who you were then. And that's a good thing, because that's what we're here to do, is to grow and evolve and become whatever we're supposed to become, isn't it? But I think one of the things that, chatting to people on the show and talking to people in general, we're a society that likes a manual. we like to have a little book that we can read that's gonna help us to do this. But actually, very often there isn't a manual, but there is a series of things that you can do and take part in. And I'm super excited. I know you've got an app that you're launching, which I guess is to help people have some of those tools and resources. So can you tell us a bit about that? Because it sounds really exciting.
Yeah, well, everything is a placebo. That's one thing I want to say. There is no one tool or one technique that fits everybody. Everyone has to, it's a permission slip. So whatever you're trying, if it's affirmations, if it's a 4-leaf clover, if it's a protocol that someone has created, it might work for them, but it might not work for you, because you have to give it permission to work for you in the first place. So I created an app. Like for me, the app is, there's a lot of people out there that have no one to speak to. And when you're really down, when you're in a really dark place, or when life feels like it's just falling apart and you need an answer like now, sometimes going to family isn't the right thing to do. Sometimes when you speak to a friend, they'll be like agreeing with you, but it doesn't actually help you. So the app was created so that it can really start helping people to recalibrate themselves. There are meditations in there. There are affirmations. There are you can chat with me. So there's Chat GBT AI. I've literally programmed it with hours and hours of me. You can write to me. You can talk to me. But the answers that you're going to get is all about aligning with you in that moment. Like they will sympathize with your problem. It will speak to you and know that, like, this is where you are, but this is how to look at it differently. This is how to get past this. So it's an immediate a tool that can really help you to change that mindset, to have a different perspective on the very thing that you're going through. Because once you have a different perspective and you see things a little bit differently, you'll feel differently. And it's the feelings that then cause you to take the action. So that's why I created that, because there are so many people that are contacting me that they feel like they have no one to speak to. They're constantly in pain. So this whole system, it's got a journal in there, it's got timers in there. It's all about helping you to let go and to recalibrate yourself back to your truth.
Because I think sometimes it's true, isn't it? We need to be able to get it out of our head. And, you know, I'm a big believer in the fact that for me personally, and I'm not saying this will work for everybody, but for me personally, I have to talk out the emotion. I have to talk it out to then let it go. I don't want it to go anywhere. I don't need anybody to fix it for me. I just need to be able to say it. And then I can go, oh, now I can see that from the other side and I can see that perspective. And I'm really glad I didn't say it to somebody else.
Yeah. Yes.
It was. So I can absolutely see the benefit of being able to have an app where you can go and do that. Because I pride myself on spending most of my life trying to be really level and quite calm. And yet it doesn't mean you don't ever get triggered. It doesn't mean say something really infuriate you. And so you've got to be able to get that out, haven't you? You can't just it just comes out later on, doesn't it, somewhere else?
Yeah, well, a lot of people, I believe, like they go into drinking and drugs and all the other things, is because they have all these emotions. So we've got programs within us, experiences that we had from childhood, and those experiences are the things that are dictating our whole life. It's never the situation that you're in now that's triggering you and getting you angry. It's the anger that was already inside of you that you haven't dealt with from being a young child. Because when you was young, you were in situations that you might not have been able to change, or somebody might have said something to you. So you've created a story or a meaning to something. So that anger, that lack of self-worth, that's what drives you today. It's never the people in your life right this moment. It's always the situations or the emotions that are trapped in your body, in your nervous system, that has never been able to be released. So a lot of people, they get angry and then they sort of they hold those emotions in, or they try to ignore them, and they try to overcome them by suppressing them and taking their eye off to drinking or drugs or whatever it is. But the emotion is still there. It will always come up and it will get stronger and stronger and stronger. It's like it's knocking at your door until it's like, I need you to address me. Once you feel it, when you can stay present, and you can feel that emotion, because it's not coming up to hurt you, but it wants you to feel it. Feel what it felt like, but be in the present moment. Breathe, just feel it. Close your eyes and just let it pass through you. It will pass through you, and it won't have the same that same emotional attachment to it anymore. It will start going. It will start dissipating. But the more you try to suppress it and you try to camouflage it, it's going to keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger, because it wants to be released from your body. That's all it wants.
It's so true, and you feel that release, and it feels once you can sit with it and go, okay, so I'm angry now. Why am I angry? And maybe there's this injustice or a felt injustice, and then do I still feel like that now, or am I okay to just let that go now? Let it be some be wherever it needs to be. Within me.
Speak to it, because your body is always trying to communicate with you, always. But most of the time we live in survival and fear, where we have to learn to it's about surrendering. It's not about getting and knowing, it's about surrendering. So sometimes I always like just to sit and put my hand on my heart and close my eyes, especially if I get triggered by something or something happens, and I say, okay, how is this helping? What is this trying to teach me about myself? And if it's like, then I'll think like, how dare he speak to me like that? How dare he? And I'm like, okay, well, what did he say? I'm like, how dare he? I'm like, he didn't actually say anything. So what is the meaning you're giving it to him? Oh, I don't feel good enough. Like, I don't feel like I feel like I'm sort of not as good as other people. So I always start breaking it down for me. And then I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? Well, I don't know. I don't love myself. It always comes back to the same thing. Where all the things that we actually feel, it always comes back down to that we don't feel worthy, we don't feel good enough, and that is the basis of everything. Really, we're living in fear and we're living in survival. So even people that are very angry or that are doing things in the world that they shouldn't really be doing, it's their way of expressing how they feel. They're getting their needs met. They're being seen or they're being heard. But it's being done in a way that's not productive to themselves or to other people.
That's so true, and it so resonates. I remember a few years ago now. I mean, my little girl's now 9, but I think she was about 5, and she came home from school and somebody pulled her hair, and she was really upset about it. And we talked it through. How do you feel? And then when we got to the end of it, I was like, I wonder what's going on in their world. Yeah. And she went, sorry, Mummy. And I said, but I wonder what's going on in their world, because people don't hurt us on purpose. They hurt us because they're hurting. Yeah. So maybe something's going on in his world. And she was like, oh, I'd not thought of that. So the next day she came home and she went, Mummy, you did it again. And I said, did you, Lovey? I said, well, that's not very kind. And, did you say something? And how did you feel? We talked through her bit. And she went, I asked him, Mummy, would you like a cuddle? And he looked and said, yes, please. She said, I cuddled him since.
That's so lovely. That's so lovely. It's so, yeah, because there's a lot of children living at home as well. Like I've got 6 grandchildren and I speak with their friends. They come and see me and we talk. And a lot of children, they've been born into houses. Everyone's doing the best that they can, but everyone's seeking love and approval. That's all we want as human beings, these spiritual souls. We just want to be accepted and loved. But the thing is, like, when we were born as spirits coming into this human existence, we are whole and complete. Everything that we're seeking is already inside of us. If you think about it, creation is complete. So any sickness, any disease, any anger, any resentment, they're not our true identities. They are our ego that we created to keep us safe. But that safety sometimes works against our highest potential. But our soul inside is already whole and complete. It already feels loved. It knows that it's worthy. But it's like Michelangelo, it's like I would say like a diamond with stuff, rubbish all around it. We're constantly trying to break that away so that we can reveal our true beauty inside of us.
Oh, so beautifully put. And I think it's so true. And I say to my little girl all of the time, like, everything you need is already in you. Never, ever forget that you are loved, you are safe, you are protected, and you are enough. Yeah. Because I'm still learning that. But I believe it to be true of all of us. I believe, that we are enough. We have got what's needed. We get given different experiences. And how many times have you seen a friend go through something and think, oh my goodness, I don't know how I'd cope in your situation, but that they feel the exact same about whatever situation you've been asked to go through. Yeah, because we're seeking whatever we need to learn in our spiritual journey, aren't we?
And the best thing that we can ever do to help another is first to help ourselves. Like, we can't help to heal another if we're still broken inside. That everyone is literally, they come to you because there's an aspect of them that you still have inside of you to a degree. So you can't help someone to heal if they've got a sickness and disease. If you're still seeing them with a sickness and disease, the whole point of it is to see them whole and complete. So when clients or people that I speak to, when they come to me, I see them that they're whole and complete, because that's who they truly are. I don't see the sickness, I don't see the anger, the resentment, the brokenness. I don't see any of that. I focus only on the fact that there is a spirit in front of me that is whole and complete, that has taken on an identity, a story, or some false belief or perception from someone else that is literally keeping them from being in alignment with their true self. So my job is just to strip that away and help them to remember who they truly are.
That's amazing. It's made me immediately think to a story that's in Florence Scovel Shine's Complete Works. And she shares in there that there was a monastery, I think in India. But in this monastery, they never say hello to each other. they greet everybody and everything with, I salute the divinity in you. And as a result of that, despite the fact that they are surrounded by wild animals that really should kill them, none of them have ever been harmed, because they start with that, I salute the divinity in you. And I started doing it for myself, like saying it, even if I don't say it out loud, I say it in my head, particularly before a difficult conversation, because it helps the person and not the situation.
Yeah, 100%. And I always say, like, if there's someone in front of me and they're very negative, or they're going through some real negative experiences and they're angry and they're exploding, I just say, like, you know, that's not my reality, that's yours. I live in the 5D reality as much as I can. They're responding from the 3D reality. That's through fear, anxiety, and everything else. So for me, the 90% of my life, I try to stay in the 5D. So for me, it's like people say, oh, you live such a Pollyanna lifestyle, you know, like, and I do. I've got a mindset of an 8-year-old, you know, I skip, I go to the park, I swing on the swings. I don't want to get old. Like, we're so conditioned that when you get to a certain age, you have to be this way and you have to do these things, and then you start aging. You know, I'm 62 now and I love life, you know, like I'm going to create my own version of life. And as you just said, if you don't believe in the war and all the stuff that's constantly in the 3D reality at the moment, it won't be part of your reality. You know, what people don't understand is that, you know, we are living in this world, but really it's like, it's been created by some broken people, by man. So really, like, a lot of things that they're showing us isn't our truth. It's not true. You know, like, unless you put your attention on things and you get angry and you're focusing on the very thing you don't want, you're going to bring it into your reality. It's as simple as that. So the news and all these stories that are out in the world at the moment, you're actually feeding the very mechanism that you don't want to be part of. So I think it was Mother Teresa that said that she would never join an anti-war rally. She would only join a rally for love and peace and love, because she knew it's all energy, it's all vibration. And if you are getting involved in what that telly is telling you, like, you know, I would say the telly's like, tell a lie to your vision. I never watch TV. I don't read the papers. I don't want to know, because I don't want that in my consciousness. For me, I just emit the signal of the life and the world that I want to live in. So people have to really understand how they are this transmitting tower, and they're constantly vibrating out a frequency. Whoever's on that frequency is going to be brought back into your life. And it's as simple as that, really.
Oh, I love that. And I must admit, it was actually when just before COVID that we switched off news and everything. And I was like, we need to get through, and we can't fix that. We can't change that. So, but we can choose not to absorb it. We can to focus on what we do want, not what we don't want. And you know, for me, that I try and bring that to life for my little girl as well. And I think you're right. You know, I mean, I'm 53 this year, and she keeps me young. Because we're the two nutters in the playground that are doing the waltz. I don't really care what you think. She's happy, we're present. And does it really matter? Who are we to say you're too old to do this or you're too young to do that? You can't do these things. It's like, as long as you're not harming anybody else, as long as you're not being unkind or mean, then does it matter if you're the nutter that's dancing around the supermarket? I mean, literally walks alongside Mimi and all of a sudden you're in the supermarket, you're in the veg aisle, and you've got a leg at the side of you because she's decided to do the standing splits. And I'm like, okay. And I don't want to dampen your energy. Like, if that's how we feel, if that's what your body thinks is bringing it joy, who am I to stop you? As long as you that poor soul in the head while you're doing it.
Exactly. But it's so true. You know, I've got my grandchildren range from 2 up to 16. And then when I see them, I have a Power Ranger nan, and I do all silly things. But I think that's like you said, it's about living in the moment. We've become so serious, you know. It's like even children at school now, I feel so sorry for them because they're so like conditioned to be a certain way. As spirits, we're here to be creative, to expand and to grow. So the children aren't being naughty at school. They just don't fit into the system that's been created to keep everyone the same. We need to change all that, you know, because we're creative beings. We want to be free. We hate being told what to do. So I know there has to be some form of like guidance. But I think everything needs to start changing. And I do believe the world is changing now for a reason. The reason why everything's really looking so dark and bleak is not because it's a negative. It's actually happening to help everyone now because it needs to be that way. The old systems are all falling apart so that the new ones can now come into play.
I agree. And in every lifetime, in every decade, we've seen this. We've seen like periods of like big change because the world has outgrown what it was doing before. It needs to do something else. And I think you're right. We are in a world that is changing, and we need to move away from that almost compare and despair society that we've had created, where we compare ourselves to everybody else and despair at our lack in comparison. Instead of actually, we should just be focused in on what are we putting out? What are we emitting good? Are we emitting kindness? Are we emitting love? Or are we emitting fear and scarcity and darkness? That does drive our actual reality, doesn't it?
And I think it's going to really test a lot of people because we've been so doctrined to believe in religion in a certain way, in the Bible in a certain way. And we're so conditioned, we're so like, will not change our perception because it's been sort of like as grounded in since the day we were born. But there's a lot more now because the internet has made the world a very small place. And there's a lot of younger generation, a lot of what I call key light workers that have been born into this. So now what they're teaching you is that the kingdom of heaven is actually within you. That you don't die and go to heaven. You was actually born into heaven. That heaven and hell are two aspects of yourself. It's not a Satan and a God. They're just you. And every choice that you make is either going to bring you towards love or away from love. So really, you are it. There isn't a God in the sky. There is a universal intelligence. There's one mind, but you are attached to that mind and you have free will to choose and decide. So whatever you think, whatever you feel, you are going to bring into your creative. You are going to create it because you are a powerful creator. People might not like that. But one thing I do teach, I teach from life experience, not from books. So when I realized that creation was complete, I healed my body within 36 hours. And I was 10 years bulimic. My whole body had shut down, my lungs, my kidneys, everything. And I completely restored my body once I declared and demanded that I was whole and complete. Same thing with everything in my life, with finances, with money, with everything. It's like everything is already that we want is already there. We just have to step in and command it and claim it and live it as it already is. But a lot of people, as you said, have been so controlled by fear that this is all now breaking down, and it's going to change. It's 100% going to change. And the ones that don't want to change, there's going to be two worlds splitting, and it's already happening. You're not going to know it, but the ones that are walking in truth, love, and light are going to be transitioning over here, and the ones that are still full of darkness and hatred and resentment, there'll be two worlds running simultaneously. But I know which one I choose. Like you said, it's when you know you're in alignment, you feel good, you feel happy, you feel loved, you feel I don't know, you have so much faith, you know that nothing can happen to you because you're divinely guided and protected. When you live in fear and separations, you live in anxiety, depression, because you feel like you're alone. You've been told that you are alone, and we're not. We've never been separated, and that was the lie that they told us from the beginning.
It resonates so much. There's so many things through life where I've seen for myself that I've been focused on what I didn't want. And one of the hardest lessons I had to learn, and one of the hardest conversations I had to have, was to forgive myself for inviting in everything I'd invited in, because I'd done that.
Yeah.
And just as much to congratulate myself for inviting in all the things I had invited in. That was positive. But that kind of like realization that actually you are the author of your own life. So if you don't like what's going on, take back the pen.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, you want to write.
24 hours each day, we get to rewrite a new script. But the thing is, people are rewriting a new script, but they don't see the changes. So what they're doing is, like you said, we change not when life is hunky-dory and fun and we're in love and everything. We change through our darkest periods sometimes. I don't know why, but we always do. but we're changing 24 hours every day. But because we're not seeing the changes play out in real time, because there's a gap, and energy takes time for the world that you're living in to see the changes. So we're constantly digging up and going back. Where really that's the time where you need to have the faith, because you just have to know you've planted the seed, you had an experience that you didn't like, you now know what you do like, so it's giving you that growth and expansion. But stay in the growth and expansion rather than thinking, I want this, nothing's happening, nothing's changing, my life's still the same. It's the seed, it's under the ground. You can't see what the universe and what God's doing to that seed, but that's the time where you need to have that faith and to stay in that faith of it's already done. And that's easier said than done. That's why I'm creating the things I'm creating, to help people to get over that gap, because it's that gap that keeps you stuck. And then you go back to the comfort zone, because it's like, I know what to expect over here. Even if I'm miserable and I hate my life, I know what to expect. So it's just that. You're nearly there. You're touching it. You're licking distance, but you go back again.
Yeah, and we see that so much, don't we? Like in life, where people have, got so close, and then given up. There was the people that had a gold mine. I can't remember the names. They had a gold mine, and they gave it up, and they were 3 foot away from gold when they gave it up. They lost everything, but that guided the rest of their life. They went on to become a multi-billionaire, ran a big insurance company, because they reminded themselves every time that they thought it got tough, I was 3 foot from gold. I was 3 foot.
Yeah. It's like that film. Is it what was it called? Groundhog Day. It's very similar to that, isn't it? Like waking up. That's the whole point of life. You wake up, you go through life, and you're like, you fall down, you're like, oh, next day you get up, you're like, you go round the hole, and then you might fall again, and you're like, okay, next day I'll get up. So it's all about small changes. Life isn't meant to be like, you can set an intention. Your whole life can change instantaneously. I work with people that said that they were infertile, they had a baby 3 months later. I work with people that wanted to create something that no one could create before. They had no money. I showed them how to do it just through visualization and holding that intention. They've done it. I worked with someone, this is a crazy story, who had so many felonies on his passport that he was never able to go through the airport or go through certain countries. I showed him how to jump a timeline. I showed him how to go through that airport as a completely different person. He never even got stopped. So everything is being created by us. There is no such thing as a limitation or impossibility, because we can create anything we choose to.
I love that. That reminds me of one of my favourite quotes is Audrey Hepburn's, "Nothing is impossible. The word itself says I'm possible." And I remind myself of that constantly, because we do. We get into those elements of doubt. We get into wanting to be the one in control. And actually, we're not in control of the timing. The plant's going to grow when the plant's going to grow. We are in control of when we plant the seed, and we're in control of how well we water it. And as I understand it, and I'd love your thoughts on this, as I understand it, how we water it is by believing it will grow.
And also, we can have, I've worked with people that have been in therapy for 15, 20 years, tried to commit suicide. They were in the worst state, and instantaneous transformation, instantaneous change. Like, change can happen instantaneous, because it's you that's holding on to it. So it's not about the timing. The timing can be instantaneous. It's you. So it's about us getting out of the way, because everything is created. So it's like, how long is it going to take to come into fruition? It's how long do we take to get out of the way and allow it to come into fruition? So like you said, is we plant the seed, and then we're looking, rather than going on our way, we have to take action and things. It's not about like just sitting like waiting for things to come. You have to take aligned action, but it's like you take aligned action in going forward in creating the aspects of it that you want to create, like going forward and having the meetings or doing the bits and pieces. But it's the doubt, and then the fear, and then the looking in the bank account and thinking, or checking the doctor's records and thinking, oh my God, so it's that puts you down back again. I always say to people, it's like a game of snakes and ladders. You keep moving up the board, and then you stop, and then you doubt, you have some fear, anxiety, you go back down again. So you keep sliding yourself down, your prize is here, but you could get to it instantaneously if you just keep the mindset. Like if you go to the end, if you keep practicing, it's already done. Being that person, how would she speak? How would she feel? How would he be walking, talking, living if creation was already complete? So you have to keep in that state of being, but we don't. We then start thinking, oh, especially if it's a sickness and a disease, you then start listening to other people, and then you start looking at sort of charts and think, well, everyone's died of this. Why would I be different? So it's very hard to keep a mindset when you've got so much evidence around you showing you the evidence against yourself.
Yeah, that I can so see that. But we live in a world of polarity, don't we? So for every up, there's a down. For every left, there's a right. So for every fear, there has to be hope, because one can't exist without the other. There can't be without dark. There can't, once you realize that, it's like whatever it is that you're fearful of, what you're hopeful for is also available to you.
Yeah, definitely.
Both of them exist, and therefore, and you make them up anyway in your own mind, because we haven't had the thing we're fearful of yet, and we haven't had the thing we're hopeful of yet. So we've imagined it. Same brain. So neither is credible or more likely, but which one we focus on is what will happen, because we are fulfilling prophecies, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. And there is no good or bad. They are just energies. So if you think of energy as a wave, there's just a wave in front of you. What you put on that wave will come into fruition. So if it's happiness, joy, if it's fear or disappointment, you make the wave come into reality. The wave's just neutral. Energy is neutral. It's what we put our attention behind it. But like you said, we're taught that that's a bad emotion, that's a good emotion. They're just neutral emotions. They don't actually anything. We're giving them meaning. So if somebody's depressed and then they get angry, always like, oh, don't be angry, go back to being depressed. But maybe you need the anger to get through the depression, because you're angry at, why did I do that? Or why did I allow that person to do it? So the anger is good, because it's moving you from one state to another state. And then from anger, you could think, okay, now what it is. You know what, most of the time people, the real problem with people is they don't know what they want. I would say 90% of people that I work with, they really don't know what it is they want. And when I say to them, what do you want? I just want to be happy. Well, what does happiness mean to you? I don't know. I just want to be happy. I want to feel good. So what does feeling good mean? Because you can feel good now. You can go and get a choc ice out the freezer and feel good. So what is it you actually want? Because every single person in the world knows what their soul wants, but they don't think that they can have it. And that's where the separation is with them all. That's why they feel a lot of the times miserable. That's why they feel unhappy. They're in the wrong relationships. They're in the wrong jobs. They're doing the wrong things. So it's that aspect of themselves that are they're fighting against themselves, really. Their soul, what they truly came here for, and what they're actually living and creating now.
Amazing. I could literally chat to you all day, but I can't believe we've only got 2 minutes until the show ends. You'll have to come back on, because I've got so many more questions. We want to ensure that before you go, we're able to share with people how they get in touch with you, and who do you help?
So I work with everybody and anybody, really, but I mainly work with people that are visionaries, CEOs, high achievers, people that really want to expand their lives and to take their lives into another direction. You can get me on my website, www.mimibland.london. Instagram is just mimibland.london. If you put me in Google, Mimi Bland, I'll definitely come up. So yeah, I just want to help to impact humanity, really, and help people to really connect back to themselves.
Amazing. And obviously there's also your app, so people can connect with you through that as well, can't they?
Yeah, it's all on my website. If you go to my website, my apps are on there, my books are on there. I love your little dog. Everything's on my website, so they can find everything on all the information.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And Pudding is particularly impressed and wants to join in as well. Forgive me, Pudding joins in most shows, don't you, sweetie? Mimi, thank you so very much for coming on. It's been really inspiring and enlightening. So thank you for sharing that with us. And for everybody listening and watching, I hope you found today's episode to be as thought-provoking and inspiring as I have. And like me, might go and spend the next few minutes thinking about what is it I really do want, because maybe that's not as clear as it could be. Until next time, take care.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA-Global-TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.